The convention center is now closed. Please leave via the nearest exit.
Devolverland Expo is an experimental playable advertisement from Devolver Digital, which was released as a companion piece to their absolutely insane Devolver Direct conference. So did they find a way to make consuming ads fun? I don't know. Let's find out. So the first thing I want to say about this is that it's not really going to be a normal review. That's because this isn't really a normal game. So with E3 canceled this year due to COVID, everyone's moving to fully digital events, but Devolver really took it one step further and actually developed a fully playable piece of marketing. And I've got to say that I really love this idea as soon as I saw it pop up on the Steam store page. It's just such an over-the-top concept, and one that I wouldn't have even paid attention to if it wasn't from Devolver. And their publisher has gone above and beyond with their shows year after year, putting out content that feels like it'd be at home on late-night Adult Swim.
I mean, Devolver Digital is just about as unprofessional as it gets. First with the cold latte, and now with this. Ridiculous.
Which I've got to say I've got a real soft spot for after spending most of my teens staying up late watching things like Super Jail, Venture Bros, or Assy McGee.
Is that your old lady?
That's my daughter.
Right. I recognize the mustache.
They've also published so many amazing games like Hotline Miami and its sequel, High Hell, Gorn, Ape Out, Katana Zero, and even My Friend Pedro, which was the first game I ever reviewed on this channel. And after playing through the expo, I've got to say that I would have loved seeing large interactive booths of any of these games like we get in this one. Anyways, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Devolver, because this video isn't meant to be an ad for them. I just want to give some background as to why this game, which mostly consists of watching trailers, is interesting enough for me to look at. And with that, let's get into the gameplay. You play as the American everyman, who after hearing about the cancellation must have thought, "You're stepping on my rights. You can't tell me where I can and can't go. I'm going to see this expo and COVID be damned." And I'm sure this is the same kind of scumbag that doesn't wear a mask when going to stores either.
You suck!
So he breaks into this massive empty convention center which is meant to hold the expo. And the environment's initially really impressive with these abandoned booths and merch cluttering the expo center. But then after a couple of minutes exploring, it starts getting so frustrating because these play areas appear to be massive, but they're completely blocked off with ropes or obstacles, so they just end up feeling rather small and cramped. Quickly you're going to pick up a t-shirt gun which you can use to disable these robots that patrol the convention center. These things will send you back to a checkpoint if they catch you. But the robots and the gun are really more there as a distraction and less to supply any actual fun gameplay. They're seemingly placed at random around the map, and pretty much if you see one, you shoot it once, which will disable it for a really long time, and then you just kind of walk right past it. I just think this was like the bare minimum they could possibly get away with, without the game being just a walking simulator where you go from place to place to watch a trailer. And honestly, this t-shirt gun is like the most basic baby's first FPS kind of gun I can think of. It's like the kind of thing you'd see if you look up beginners FPS game dev tutorials. Aside from the robots, there are also some collectibles that are placed around the map. But it's really like they didn't want these things to be found at all because they blend in so well with all the other props, like controllers and consoles. And for whatever reason, there isn't any outline or way to tell you just found one until you get close enough to see the used text pop up. I ended up just running around the whole time, rubbing my face on every surface just watching for the text, instead of being able to take in all the sights at the expo. And there actually are some really cool things to see. I mean, the main attractions being the custom designed areas for the 7 different games being shown at the expo. Starting with the one from Carry On, you see this huge area of the map that almost looks like a themed haunted house that you walk into. First you'll see these tendrils destroy a robot, and then turning the corner you find this huge monster hanging from the ceiling, and monitors playing gameplay all around it. It's seriously so cool, and the only way I can think of that would have made me more excited to see more of the game is if the whole thing was built for VR. There are also some other really great ones for their other big games like Serious Sam 4 and Shadow Warrior 3, which are in these huge open areas surrounded with assets that look like they were pulled right from those games. But then what's weird is that for some of the other games, they don't even give them their own room. Just like a little tiny area with another one right next to it. Just feels a little strange to me not to give every game a really cool area, considering that there's absolutely no physical limitations. I mean, sure, Serious Sam is probably a much bigger deal than some small indie game, but I think if you're going to spend the time to put them in your virtual convention, you should go all out and make sure that every game gets the same chance to impress the player. So once you enter a game's area, there's one large screen playing the trailer, which when you look at, will play the full trailer for you. To actually beat the game, you have to at least watch some portion of each trailer, but if you don't want to stay for the whole thing, then you have the option to leave after a certain amount of time. Although in a stroke of absolute genius, they added Steam achievements for staying through the entire ad, which for a compulsive achievement hunter like myself, it gave me a reason to let the whole thing play. So after seeing all the game boosts, you end up getting a power glove which replaces your gun, and it's seriously such a big letdown. I figured this thing was about to change the whole game up and let you lay an absolute smackdown on the robots floating around, but instead it completely removes any way for you to disable these things, making you completely defenseless if you decide to roam around a bit more.
You stink, loser!
I just don't understand. Why would you set this glove up as some super powerful weapon? If the only thing you can do with it is pick up garbage from the ground and move it around. It's a lot less like a dangerous relic, more like an item that the convention center needs to invest in for their janitorial staff. So now with no good way to look around the expo center, you're funneled into the final boss arena, which is this huge giant robot made out of expo equipment. You kill it by using your glove to throw stuff back at it until it dies. I mean, it's not particularly mind-blowing, but it's kind of a cool way to end the experience. So overall, I think the Devolverland Expo is a really interesting experience, and I'm glad it was made even if I won't ever play it again. It's such a cool idea that I'd love to see more of, although I know this will probably be the only one we ever get, considering how much work something like this is to pull off. And I mean, it's not a perfect experience. There's huge frame drops throughout the whole game, the gun combat's as standard as they come, and you're knowingly agree to playing a game just to watch ads, which we spend most of our time on the internet trying to avoid. But I think if you're someone who looks forward to E3 or any other games convention throughout the year, then you're probably going to find something to really like in this experience. And I just wish it would have been built for VR. So for my final score, I'm going to give this one 7 marketing campaigns seared directly into my brain.
President by YouTube.